Today I welcome you all. The day that it is today is 26 days of April. Starting with an A, you can add a 1 to the 26. Today is 612 day, the 9 of Alpha Beta, and man in one scenario on another island of creation, because it's not always, you see, every day is a lot of different things, but not always in this world. You'll get a reflection part of it. Everything is perfect in 10. When you see a reflection in the lake, it is only going to reflect what it sees. So that's what the reflection is. Do you notice in the cards, the reflections, they show no legs? You know why? The pelvis position is what the creation is all about. And man's pelvis, or Elvis, that you swing around that they had to take off, they took Elvis off of there because it was his pelvis that was going to tell us that all creation and the part of the brain in our body is inside the pelvis. That's why we're always telling those men, oh, you got to dirty this, you got to dirty that. All you think of is your big dick. It's because part of our, it's known, just like the animals, when they want to get laid, my friends, they just do just about anything. They're crazy like crazy. It's just sick, 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 sick. So what I'm going to get to first, I wasn't really planning on coming on here to actually do a video right now. I call this part of another page in the diary. But I saw some stuff today, the way I was inside H. You know why I's in H? Well, I've already showed you. You can already see it. But I've seen it in pictures today in diamonds that were connecting on an old barn. But we didn't finish with pelvis yet. P in pelvis, E in pelvis, L in pelvis, V in pelvis, IS. VIS in French, you know what it means? It means a screw. Pelvis, Elvis, always moving his hips is where the pelvis is. Always looking to get laid, just like a screw. And vis, it means a screw. And a vis means to be addicted to something at the same time. Pelle is a shovel. And pelle, in French, it's a shovel. So you got to screw the shovel, which means you got to screw the spade, which means you, the heart, has to screw the spade. And that's what a woman actually looks like all around there. Because remove the pelvis, everything like goes whoosh, right in. No? Just out of my head, if you remove a pelvis, everything seems to, like, you don't have it there anymore, so it don't got to stick out on the outside. Pelvis, Elvis. Let's do the letter count on pelvis. P is the one spirit of the 6 islands of man. E is the electronic world. L is the life. V is also the life. One in English, they're talking about both lives now. So that means there's a connection. There's a V involved in this one. VL. 22 and 12 is 34. 34 says 1, which means there's a connection of the one spirit somewhere, whether it's a 1-9 or a 3-7. Don't forget, if it's odd and it's God, or if it's even, that'll tell you it's sexuality, but not all in cases. It depends, because in the case of sometimes the E and the S and the 5, okay, the 5 is used by both Beta in her world and Alpha in his world. So they get to have the unisexual letter, which is the 5. Anyways, what I just wanted to show right now is, you see this over here? This is a 2 dice. Let me see if I can do this with you. We'll play along. This is the 2 dice. Same thing in the first one. Then I go to the second one, and that's the second one. And the third one is this. See the N2 over here? So when I put it that, you end up making, when I put all these 3 on top of each other, it makes this. But if I extend this over here, I can't see behind this. Let me move my camera over, okay, so I can see. See what it does? The Big Dipper. Big Dipper creates the 6 dice. Then it recreates the M and the W. It creates this hat. This hat over here upside down. You see that hat? Same hat. Hold on, let me try and get this together here. What do you think about the hats? They sort of look the same. I put those pieces upside down. I made a mistake. You see the card in the background? It looks like a hatchet on the back. Those 2 white eyes, my friends, okay? That's a mask. That's not a knife or anything. He's holding a goddamn flower, the faggot. Okay? And if you look in the center right here, okay, all it says is 52. If I can steady it, it'll be able. The blue is in 52. And the gold is because didn't the goose have 3 golden eggs? One was the spirit, right? One was man and one was the angel. So how can we never talk about the spade? What the fuck? What happens to the spade? Oh, the cards are usually who man is, and spade is half a heart. That's why you see the broken heart. That's why you see the arrow in the head. Okay, where else am I getting to? This one over here. If the earth had to be split up, you can do a lot of things with the center right here, but right now I'm working on 18, which is 90 degrees. 90 degrees is 18. But if we were the core of everything, and there was 10 degrees on this side, and 10 degrees on this side, or 10 degrees up and 10 degrees down, you would ask yourself the question, if you take away 10 degrees, okay, from 90 degrees, I mean, if you take away 10 degrees from 90, you have 80 degrees. Now, my question is, these lines look like a football diagram. So now you have to calculate it by putting the laws of football into this design to see how big the core actually is that we make up. Because that amount of time that we make up will actually give you the answer to a 360 degrees and switch your clock around back to 8 hours for 360 degrees instead of having 24 hours. Just use 8 hours and 8 hours. Like every hour is worth, what, 90 minutes? 90 minutes per hour? That'd be switching time around, right? Has anybody ever figured out how to switch time into metric? I did. Keep forgetting, but I keep remembering. I know it's there for sure. So what actually has to happen is you have to re-relate everything to the proper angles and the coordinates. 45 degrees is in the middle of 90. So whichever way you're going to go in the 8 directions of east, west, north, and south, northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest, then you will know what you're going to get to. You're going to, at 45 degrees, the maximum you go out is to another 45 degrees. So you have to base it on that. Sorry. So anyways, that's why if you switch time around and you find out the size of the core, you'll find out how much of that core made the other world come to. We have to find our 24 hours. We have to find the perfect year and why all these numbers seem not to be perfect. Okay, it's all because of us. It's because of us and the difference of the transport from one area to the other area, the use on the tires, the time to change everything when the equipment is out. So you got to take all these things into effect. Although we're not machines, if there was a system, it must be like a machine, just like you run a company, just like it was a child as a baby and you changed the diaper every single morning you went in and every single night you went home. You had to keep thinking of it because it was the survival of not only you, but all those employees that work for you and all those who you take care of. So in this scenario, okay, we'd end up with 2020 in the center, which would equal to 400, okay? 10 degrees, 10 degrees, 10 degrees, 10 degrees equals to 400, okay? 20 by 20 equals to 400 degrees inside. Well, don't forget, in its own, it's 360 degrees in its own. I'm just chopping up its space. If it's using 10 more percent this way and 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 10 more percent this way, and you end up with 400. Okay, because I squared this off. Did I make a mistake there? Can you just give me a second? If I take out 10 degrees and 10 degrees in one direction, I'm taking 20 degrees and I'm taking 20 degrees. Yeah, it's linear. I don't know how to say it, but I know it's 400. So anyways, those 400, in order to get out of that 400, you'd have to go 401. Reverse 401 is 14. 1 and 4 is 5, and 4 and 1 is 5. I just thought of that. Now, what did I say? Something about 14. I don't remember what it is. 400. Anyways, I believe that's the space we live in. Anyways, what's left over? It's left over at 80 degrees in each angle. And what's good about that is the game of Monopoly is a game of 40. And 80 means you can go around each corner twice. So you can keep going around and around and around. Like somehow, this is redesigned 4D and it becomes like a train track. And somehow this whole entire space, the sun and everything, has been moving around, and we've never even noticed it. We've been moving into another part of space that we've never seen before. But then again, as it's on the tracks, and in Walt Disney World, when you get off the tracks, you usually end up close to where you began, or at the end. So when we come around again, we're going to be back to how it all began. So why are we seeing so many things? Oh, every 10,000 years we see this star, and every 600 years we see that star, is because the snake or dragon run that we go on up and down on the roller coaster takes up time. And when we go up, oh, look, we seen this 2 years ago, this star. And when we shift over, we see it 2 years later. But now we're down at the bottom. Oh, no, it's a solstice this year. Oh, the train goes back to the top, so you can see over on an angle, the angel, the angle. King also has a cap like this. But if you flip it upside down, this cap, you can fit that into the bottom part of an ace like this, so the ace doesn't go like this. You slip the king's hat in here, and it closes on it. And then you take the letter here. When you put two of these letters together, it looks like you have a fork, a knife, and a square plate, like Chinese sitting down for them to eat. So we're going to get off this. What other card do I have? I have another king. I mean, you can't not. There's yellow in here. That's the Christ of energy, all the way down to the hand. Was it made in the hands of God? Don't remember all the things that come out of the Bible. The hands of God. Oh, that didn't mean much, did it? Oh, it means a lot more now than it ever did. Because this king happens to be the god of the cards. So you have to reflect it off of this. Everything was passed in this thing here. That's why they put that red dot there for the red spirit. So I'm still trying to think, is there a chance, okay, that Mercury, and one of the reasons Mercury doesn't have the moon is because Mercury's moon is inside man's head. It's the division spirit that connects angel and man. So then Venus, like I said, would have to be something to do with the blood pressure. And all these planets are a little bit different. Do the planets exist, or are they only in our body? Or are they really out there but much smaller than we think they are? I mean, Earth isn't that big after all, is it? Have we ever gone to the moon? Let me show you something. See this? See this? That's what you call a moon with a hat on it. When that hair is pushing out and covering me, the antennas are not working when it's too long. But if your hair's a little bit curly, you have that antennas, you have a puffiness. But my hair was no good. I didn't need it. I couldn't hear God with my hair. And now, every time I hear God, and every time I think of Him, and He's always in my mind, the hair always raises off the top of my arm. So it must be a good thought. You know, when you think they're really deeply inside of you, Beta's inside of you. The mother of all gods through spirit is inside of you. She's your heart, she pumps. Wouldn't you be scared to do something? Because you'd have to face up to the truth. But then if you have an indecisive thought, of course you can do just about anything. How close do you think they watch? They're on your ass 24 hours a day. They see everything you do. There's nothing you can't do. Everything is stored, put away in another supercomputer, up inside and high and above and down below. They take the soul and the connections of the moon of all moons, of the moons of Jupiter, Neptune, and primarily the most important of all moons is Pluto. But if we do not have Mercury connecting to Pluto, then we do not have any spirit for Jupiter to put anybody on Saturn for a life of an angel on Mars. But Uranus is always up your ass, and that's one of the aces. You can always say it's in the 5-hole, but it's not in the 5-hole because Uranus is the 7th planet. So you have 5, 7, 7, 5. In fact, now it brings me up to something where I did 5, 7, 7, 5. And if you take the 180 degrees, and you, like I showed you on the other paper, totality divided by the 24 hours. Okay, because you can just, instead of the sun moving this way, I just go 24 hours this way. I work with the numbers I am supplied with. Okay, in time, yes, I can use other numbers and switch and change and make other ideas and equations come out to look as They are primarily more than a hypothesis in the actual answer. But to begin, you got to begin with a little hole, and you keep on making that hole bigger until your answer is broader and your definition is so much greater and stronger that the meaning holds in not only in one's mind, but in all man's mind together. So, so yeah, this divided by 24 equals 7.5. Okay? But don't forget, I'm going to show you something. Where's my paper? Vertical, horizontal. 7.5, 7.5. Now let me tell you it together. 5, 7, 7, 5 on one side of the world and the other side of the world. From one expression to the other. And what is that 5775? Well, it's a Hebrew year. Starting October 4th, 2014. What is it going to be like? What is it going to be? I don't know, but I keep getting that number over and over and over and over. Because 10 means the reflection is the perfection of whatever the reflection is all about. It can never be wrong. The reflection is the reflection. Whatever is in the reflection is in the reflection. And whatever it reflects, And therefore, whatever it may be reflecting will always be the truth. Because that reflection, the natural reflection of the moon, is not telling you anything or showing you anything different. Man decides. Man is a big hypothonian. Can we say that? Man's a hypothonian. He's got an answer for everything. He's hypothetical about everything. He believes nothing and he believes he's right. He always takes his side and he never likes to say, maybe you're right. Maybe it could be a little bit different because he knows it all. You see, that's the difference between me and everybody else. I know all my work is like an open scale. The only time I'll never really listen to you is if you tell me to quit. Because quitting does not give a gain. And there's always a gain. There's always something found. Is there not? You'll always look for something. If you don't have something, you're going to look until you find something. Then you'll work on it so long, you'll think it was nothing. You'll find something else. If you don't find today, you'll find tomorrow. Otherwise, if it wasn't true what I was saying, then every single day I know what's going to happen. I'm going to wake up at 6:48. I'm going to bed at 7:11. I'm going to go to the toilet. I'm going to take a 37-second piss and I'm going to take a bath for 18 minutes. But life is not like that. Every day you get up a minute early, a minute late. You think your life is perfect. You're not on time exactly every time you think you are because sometimes you're earlier. You arrive early. You arrived late. You arrived early. Ah, you're just on time. Ah, you're here? That's early. Usually you're late. Crazy world we live in. Oh, wait a second. My friend's there. Oh, I only could talk to you for a minute. I'm a little busy now. But he doesn't see you doing anything. So he says, well, what are you doing? And holy fuck, you don't want to tell anybody else what you're doing because, you know what, you really don't want anybody into your subject. And you go, what am I doing? Well, so you say, I'm just standing here. And the guy looks at you, you know, it's a smart Alice remark. So you're really stuck all the time. You know what I'm saying? So not only does one have to watch himself, but the others who come for the attack have to understand what it is for communication. Another thing, I don't know if I showed you this. Look, AVA. It's right here. AVA. It's just too close together. What does AVA mean? Well, AVA is actually, there's many ways to look at it, but it creates the W and it creates the M. And the reason for that is you see that line here and that line, well, you take them out of there, okay? Once you take them out of there, I'm going to show you what to do with them. You still with me? Yeah, okay, I can see you. Can you see me? But I forgot. You know what? I'm holding the paper in front of me, and can you see it? I can't even see it. Oh yeah, right here. See the way this became a W? Sorry about that. I'm missing the division. The reason I can add these, okay, is because between really the three letters, there is a division. So all I did is add the division of the three letters. You see, there's a space to start this letter. There's the line. So let's start it inside the space, which is inside the line. I lined it up against the wall. Then there's a space for the second letter, and I put a space for the second letter. And there's a space that ends it, and I put a space at the end. You get M and M, V and V, W, W. And the minute the Christ energy passes it, okay, that W, A, W again, okay, ends up turning into the word water. Because every time you take a stroke over something in creation, it doesn't mean that they're actually touching, because one is in front of something or one is behind something or they're fit together. So we seem to pick up the image a little different. If it was darker and we were at a distance, but we can still get a picture, the picture might come out, might just actually say A and W when it's a whole lot more than that. I'm going to get back to something else after this. Let's leave it at that. I just want to let you know that the letter count for the planets is 133. That means the one spirit of Christ. 1 plus 3, 3 equals 34, and that represents again the one spirit. 4 and 3 is 7. Again, the representation of the gates of Christ. But you know how you spell gate? G-E-I-G-H-T. Because that way you can breathe and you can go all the way to Uranus. And when you get to Uranus, take out this finger here. Because if you ever notice, when you stick your hand between your legs, and you want to use the bar of soap in your ass to clean your ass out, this is the only finger that'll hold the bar of soap straight. The other two fingers you'll actually hold on the other side of the bar of soap. So these two fingers would be beta, while this one is actually really, holding the top of it to be able to scrub, between your legs like that. So this finger is more important than you think. This finger, okay, has 2 fingers to one side and 2 fingers to the other side. Look at the 2 fingers make. The L, hold on a second. It makes the number 7, okay? Short arm 7, the angle, I can't lift it up any higher. It's the 7 on my hand. It also makes the L. These fingers are special. A, B, alpha, beta. This finger can be called 4 or 2, and man can be called 4 or 2. This finger, okay, can be called 1 and can be called 10, but can it be, and it can be called 6, and it's all these numbers, because 10 is just a combination of the angel and man, 6 is the man, 1 is the spirit, and they all position themselves out of the keyhole, out of the one hole. And that's really freaky for me, because I know Mercury has to be our blood, but it can't be possible that we're on Mercury or inside Mercury or something. Maybe way too small. Mercury would be inside of us. How would that work? Mercury would be inside of us. I have to get back to understand what I just said, because now I just got a little bit of confusion. Mercury, okay, no matter what, okay, I still think everything hangs from, I wanted to show you something, and it went away where'd it go? Where's that one card I had to show you? I don't find it. Anyway, oh, here it is. Okay, now, I mean, this has got to be Jupiter, okay? This has got to be Jupiter. Now, if they're pedaling, why are they pedaling? Okay, what are they actually doing? You see this part over here? Okay, that's putting it from one world. This is a 6, 6, 1, or 3, 1, 3, or 9, 9, 9. Okay, but how do they all work? You see this one in the background, it sort of seems to me it's the middle row of Rubik's Cube. So if it's the middle row of Rubik's Cube, it's 2, 4, 6, and 8. Okay, but I didn't think anything was on to this over here, because 1, 3, 7, and 9, you see the way it chops these corners? This can be 1, 3, 7, and 9, and this here can be, let me try and figure it out. This here can be Mars. No, you can't have Mars. Mercury and Earth would be here, and Pluto and Uranus would be here, and all the red ones would be here. On this corner of the, excuse me, this can't be Pluto. This has got to be Neptune, but it can't be Neptune. This has got to be Venus, this has got to be Jupiter, and this has got to be Neptune. And the planets are connected to these 3, or living inside this one, or living inside this one, or only living inside this one, and these four planets, one planet. You remember the expression I keep telling you about Sesame Street? Four for one, for one, for four, for one, meaning each planet is running, this center planet is running, you see it overlaps, so it's running their planets and their planets, their planets and their planets. So this can be said 448 for four, because there's four planets here and four planets here. They didn't count their own planet. Jupiter would be the one. It would be 4, 1, 4. 1 for 4. It's like if you see a street light with this sign on it, this is 1 for 4, which is one spirit for 4 angles on the outside. This is actually 3 creation of 6, which means they moved the 2 dice 3 times, and it would, the answer to that one would be 2, 3, and 6, which makes 11. SAM, spirit, angel, and man. Okay, we're gonna douse it here. I can end it off by saying I had a revelation, and I believe that Ron Paul should never even think of stopping, and his money will come in. If it's only money, you're not supposed to stop. The man must be helped. I do not have the money. The man must be helped. Money is supposed to be for a good cause. If you're 70 or 60 years old and you have $20 million and you can let go 20 or 30,000 or 50,000 to Ron Paul, I'm quite sure if you leave him a note, Ron Paul, if you don't make it and you got extra money, I'll take it back. You know, or just what the fuck, man. Just take that money and tell Ron Paul to find a good organization to donate it to. We're all dying. We live 100 years. How long will the money be in our family? What do we actually need? We need more guarantees that we won't lose the house under our feet. We cannot pay. We cannot pay. We're in Canada. Just like the land disappeared from the Indians, the land must disappear from the ones who put the money. We must take the queen off the money. We must take all of this. Take it away. Take it away. If you want to do something to the money, do you want to do something to the money? You want to do something to the money? I'm going to tell you what to do. You put a lion and a bunch of animals and say it's the Circle of Life Bank to support those of the healthy poor and even some of the wealthy, for the better understanding, for the difference of what the exchange is. This will count for silver or whatever you want to do with it. What do we want the queen on our money? I'd say put it the cow on the money. I mean, without the cow, we don't go to the moon. Without the moon, we don't think of communication. We don't have the wolf. We don't have 3 parts of mind. The club doesn't exist. Therefore, there's only 3 suits in the deck. 3 suits is only 39 cards. So 10 is perfect. But if that didn't exist, the heart wouldn't exist if we weren't here. We'd have 26 left plus 10 numbers. Well, we wouldn't have the 10 numbers because we wouldn't have man. We'd only have 3 numbers, alpha, beta, and angel. AC/DC. Hey. Ron Paul cannot stop. This world is all wrong. Somebody's stopping the desire because of money. Money came into this world to make a separation, so we can always try 110% plus 10%. That's why. Money cannot stop Ron Paul, and it shouldn't stop Ron Paul. He knows deep down in his heart he should go right to the end. Somehow, some way, somebody must get the information out there that this guy needs money. And General Electric, I heard last year, made $14 billion. In fact, last year, somewhere in the United States and around the world alone, it was recorded at over $1 trillion in profits, all going to maybe 5 or 6 people, generalizing, of course. Billions and billions and billions of dollars. And they put it away. I think money should become rottable. That if you have money and you don't make it work, or you're not doing the right thing to society, your money should melt away and have no value after. Because if you ain't putting it to any use at all, then it doesn't have any use at all. Except for you to go to call the market up. We should get rid of, I thought about it. And these markets, half of these things, everything must change. Everything must and has to change. We cannot go on this way to always think of money, money, money. I'm not going to become a nothing if I don't have to think of money. I mean, I'm not going to quit this job and it doesn't pay shit. I'm sorry I use all these swear words, but you get into a rhythm, and I'm not coming here as a 100% school teacher. I'm coming here as a 0.5%, one who thinks and has hypotheses based on what the trend of thought is of the day. That's the trend of thought of the day. There's a lot of things, even the X. You know what you can do to the X? If you put a pin in the center and springs, you can fold down the X as far as you want. I don't know what that does, but I know it. Listen, today I was repairing a machine, okay, and I came home with, here, this is what I came home with. That's my work from today. Got a stick. On the stick it says, when you light the fire and you blow, and I started to blow. And then I went, then I started to go. So I felt like, hey man, I'm blowing like a train. So what's the reason for this? There's a reason for this, that we're blowing like a train. All of a sudden, that gust of air seemed to light that fire. What is that about? And then we bought this tapping material to take metal, drill a hole in it, and then make treads. Treads. Does man tread air? So you make treads with tap. And then it says rapide, which means fast. And just the whole thing, because water source and tap the water and the river flowing, and the rapide means fast, but also means rapids, like water. So tapping the water, rapids of the water, the source of the water, and just all these things started to come to mind. And then I ran out of space, so I went on the other side. And on this time, I wrote, not very much. What happens if you put lighter fluid and you constantly fill the area with the pressure of air? What would happen? Well, I only asked that to myself. Raphael, be well, 7286.